For those who are wearing the Kriya ribbons, at this time I'm going to ask you to go ahead and tear them. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam dayan ha'emet. So we go ahead, they tear. You tear a little tear on the side. And if you need my help, let me know. Yeah? Okay. We tear the ribbons to show that the fabric of our lives has been forever torn and can't be put back to the way it was. In the words of Ecclesiastes, there is a time for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to embrace and a time to let go, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time for silence and a time for speech, a time to be born and a time to die. We are all destined to die. We share it with all who ever lived and all who ever will be. It is appropriate for us to cry for those who have departed and not to hide our grief, and not to restrain our mourning, but to remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death, because when the dead are at rest, we let their memory be a source of peace, and we be consoled, knowing that their soul has departed and is at peace. Death is better than a life of pain, and eternal rest is better than constant sickness. We are here together today to mourn the death of Isaac Stelman. With his death just days ago, our lives are forever changed. Today we are together at one of life's most natural and unnatural moments. Isaac's death leaves us weak and breathless. We are numbed by its reality. Death silences us with the power to take from us without concern for the pain it leaves in the wake. I'm going to pause to let the train pass. If I continue, can everyone hear me? Okay. Death silences us with the power to take from us without concern for the pain that it leaves in our wake. Clearly, Isaac was one who was truly loved, respected, and it's right that we speak what is in our hearts and our minds and our memories, knowing that our words are inadequate. They can never fully capture the depth of pain that touches our hearts today. But words are all we have. And so to share more about Isaac's life, I am inviting his grandson, Steve, to come forward and speak about him. And if there's anyone else who would care to speak of his life after Steve does so, you may come forward at that time as well.
Thank you, Rabbi. Dobro utro and good morning. Thank you for being here today, physically, virtually, and spiritually, to pay our respects and say goodbye to an incredible man, Isaac Stelman. Everyone here remembers Isaac in a different way. As a father, brother, uncle, friend, co-worker, great-grandfather, a husband. But to me, he was my grandpa. A grandpa that was loving, wise, calculated, and incredibly interesting. I will remember how happy I would be when he would visit us in Israel. I will remember our weekend movie outings, including the time we went to see The Exorcist when I was 10. He fell asleep during the movie, but I couldn't sleep for the next 3 days. Still, it was worth it. I will remember all the lunches I got to spend with him, playing durak and enjoying a nice cup of coffee. Regardless of the stage of life I was in, and felt like we were just able to hang out and talk about the past, present, and future. As I matured, so did our conversations, and his wisdom became more prominent. I was always interested in his life and his history, for it was full of joy, sorrow, and historical events. He wasn't afraid to tell me the times he made a mistake or when he got something wrong, because it was an opportunity to learn and become better, and I respected him for that. Whenever I spoke about my grandfather, I spoke with pride, and one life event always stood out the most, and it highlighted his fearlessness and determination to make the right choice even when it seemed insane. This man moved from Belarus, Minsk, to El Paso, Texas at the age of 50 for a better life, and he succeeded. Language barrier, culture shock, these were just mere bumps in the road for him. Speaking of fearlessness, I was dead scared when he told me that he started balding in his early 20s, since it came from the mother's side. But this man showed me that bald can be sexy. And if you guys have any questions, you can talk to Maya about it. He was a role model. Yet the past few years were tough. His greatest gift became his weakness, as his mind started to give way. Yet his heart remained loving and warm as ever. No one is perfect, but he was perfect to me. He was a good man with a good heart. I'm, of course, speaking figuratively, because, of course, he had, in fact, a bad ticker. But he always tried his best for himself and his loved ones. To my grandpa, my friend, I love you. I will miss you, but I will never forget you. Rest in peace. Thank you.
Is there anyone here that would care to come up and speak at this time? A few days ago, Steve called me to Isaac's side in the hospital, and I saw him surrounded by love and family. And I find it amazing that we're burying him under a tree that is split in three, because it's providing shade, shelter, it's strong, and it's sort of a metaphor for what I was able to ascertain about Isaac's life. You see, he was surrounded by his family, his children, his grandchildren, his partner, surrounded by love and goodness. Family, community, and friendship, three pillars. It says a lot about a person. That a person that has put good into the world, who has loved and is loved, that is true wealth and riches. In Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers, it is written that Rabbi Shimon used to say there are three crowns: the crown of Torah, the crown of priesthood, and the crown of kingship. But the crown of a good name, of a good reputation, surpasses them all. And Isaac truly earned the crown of a good name. He was a mensch. He was a whole person in every sense of the word. Throughout our lives, we are born into and create bonds with others that we encounter. And the relationships that we fashion are the context in which we live our lives. The relationships we form become the fabric of our days. Those of you here formed with Isaac, with Isaac, bonds of love and friendship, caring and respect, which transcend time and distance, and they even transcend death. Adonai Natan va'Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mivorach. God has given, God has taken away. Blessed be the name of God. And though death is strong, it can never take away the memories, the feelings, the images forever etched in your minds and hearts and souls. Know that there are more stories that we could have told today, and many more on Zoom that we could tell them, but we must continue to share stories of his life. And by doing so, draw comfort from the stories and the memories. Because through those stories and memories, we all become forever bound to the man whom we are gathered here to mourn today. May his memory, whom we loved in life and still love in death, bless all of our thoughts and actions. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In a moment, I will chant the traditional chant that we sing at someone's funeral, and after that, I'm going to invite Isaac's immediate family, his partner, his children, his grandchildren, to come up and sprinkle a little bit of earth from Israel into the grave. It's the idea that we can't all be buried in Israel, but some of Israel can be buried with us. And so we will pass the bag to each other, after which it is customary to take some earth and put it onto the grave 3 times. 3 is the number of intention. We can do something once by mistake, twice, okay, by accident, but 3, we meant to do it. And even if we do it reluctantly, it is a mitzvah, it is a deed that we do that he can't give back to us. We are paying it forward, and someone will do it for us one day. And we all are invited to partake in this ritual. You don't have to be Jewish to partake in it. It is a show of respect and honor. But please do not feel coerced to participate if you are not comfortable. We don't normally pass the shovel to the next person. Again, we don't want anyone to feel coerced, but today, as long as we can wear gloves, I think there are gloves here, we can dispense with the not passing the shovel. It's okay to do so. So first we will rise and chant El Ma'ale Rachamim. Then we will participate in the burial together, and we will come back together to send Isaac off with the respect of the mourner's Kaddish. We will say Kaddish for him. And so at this time, I ask, if you are able to do so, to please rise. Yes, please. Stand up. Okay. No. Yeah. Okay. Hilmale rachamim, shochen bamromim, hametzei mechuna nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, im kedoshim utehorim, kizor harakia, mazhirim. Et nishmat Yitzchak ben Natan, Isaac Natanovich, Baal harachamim, yastireha beseter knafav leolamim, vayitror bitzror hachaim et mishmato, Adonai hu nachalato, v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkavo, v'nomar, Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Isaac Stelman, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace, and let us say together, Amen. Amen.
Фу. Меня совершенно с кладбища не вернулся. Хорошо. Пойдем так дальше. Пожалуйста, сейчас нужно подойти, это место считается у евреев. Кинуть 3 лопаты в землю. Пожалуйста, лопату не передавайте друг другу. Ставьте обратно в землю. Yeah. Very be careful, guys. Близко не подходите, молодец. И вот так лопата здесь. Come on, kids.
If you have the booklets, you can find the Mourner's Kaddish in the booklet as well. And if you are able to do so at this time, I ask you to please rise while we recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'itkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalal uv'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam umei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha, barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May you who mourn and know sorrow and pain soon know comfort and peace. And now go in peace to life. And we say together, Amen.
Our service here is concluded. Families should know no more sorrow.